India and the United States are two of the largest democracies in the world. Yet, these two countries are not best of friends. It has been historically so. However, there has been a deliberate effort from leaders of both the countries to improve relationship. It happened over the last couple of decades, and that effort has succeeded to a great extent also. However, all that have come to a naught at present. This is because of the act of US President, or I would say unprecedented act of US President Donald Trump, who slapped huge taxes on imports from India. He has not done that with even China, which is considered as a bet noia of the United States. What could be the reason? Is it because Trump thinks that there is an imbalance in the trade between the US and India in India's favor? Or is he angry at India importing huge quantities of crude oil from Russia? It's unlikely to be so, because those two reasons apply to the bet noia of US, China, and yet he has not done that with China. So there could be other reasons. What could be that reason? There has been reports that the US wants to create zones of their influence in South Asia. To be more specific, the US wants to redraw the map of South Asia. The US wants to create new independent countries in South Asia, which would serve as their bases. What is the interest of the US in doing so? The US wants to checkmate the influence of, or the growing influence of China in the region. The US wants to have a tight grip over the trade and transportation through Indian Ocean, and wants to keep a tight grip on Indo-Pacific. That could be the reason. They want to create two independent countries, one near or bordering northeast India, the other perhaps in Pakistan. There is every reason to believe that the US wants to purchase or gain Astola Island of Balochistan coast of Pakistan. Why I say so? I will explain in detail. Welcome to Insights. I am Hari Kumar. Why I say the US wants to establish independent countries in South Asia which would serve as their bases. As I said earlier, I base my conclusion on two factors. One, there have been reports earlier in which even quoted Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, who said somebody approached her to help create a new country bordering Bangladesh, India, and Myanmar. So that is the reason. The second is, Trump had announced when he became the president that he wants to redraw the map of certain areas. For example, he wanted to gain control over Gaza. He wanted to build Gaza as an entertainment zone. He wanted American and businessmen from other countries to invest there. So that is one example. Again, he wanted to purchase Greenland Island from Denmark. Denmark rightly refused. Then he wanted to convert Canada as another state of the United States. So Trump had such weird notions, and he said that publicly also. This is one reason. So there is no logic in denying the reports that Trump wanted to create independent countries in South Asia to further the vested interest or strategic interests of the United States. So that could be justified based on the Trump's grand plans, which he had expressed in public. This is one reason. The second reason is, Former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, before she was ousted, had said some agents of a powerful Western countries had approached her. They wanted her to help them create an independent Christian country bordering India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. The new country would have parts of Northeast India, then parts of Bangladesh, parts of Myanmar, and would have access to Bay of Bengal. Actually, there were reports even earlier that the US wants to establish a cookie state, cookie zoo. It's a larger community of cookies, Misos cookies, and other people, other Christian people, tribes in Northeast India, Bangladesh, and Myanmar would be there. So these people are called Zo people. They have affiliations with the Baptist Church, which is based in the United States, and through the church, the US wanted that. That is why there had been reports that US was behind the trouble in Manipur in India. Who armed cookies otherwise? Definitely a country which has got resources and arms, armed cookie people. So there is reason to believe. Then Sheikh Hasina said she was not interested. She realized the ultimate dangers in the move, and she was actually close to India and China also. So she knew that if she acceded the demands of this Western agent, she would be in trouble. So she safely played it safe. She didn't answer, she delayed it. And eventually that caused her downfall. She was removed in a coup d'etat. And the man who succeeded her, everybody knows he is a Western agent. That is Muhammad Yunus, who was nominated for Nobel Prize by the West. Now it is clear. So US actually wanted a Christian state bordering India, bordering Bangladesh, bordering Myanmar. And that was why US was fomenting trouble in those parts. That would have helped them to, establish a base against China, park their Air Force planes, their missiles there. Then they would have an access to Bay of Bengal. Then that would help them to, establish a presence in Indian Ocean. Then the same is now happening in Pakistan. That is why they are, giving so much importance to Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir. No other army chief in the world got a treatment like what US gave to Asim Munir. US President threw a party in his favor, and he is making nuclear threats from the US. The US is turning a deaf ear to that. Why? I'm sure that US wants something in return. Now, US has created a facade. What is that? The US wants to help Pakistan to exploit its oil wealth, and US has floated a theory that Pakistan has got huge oil reserves. Then again, the US has floated another theory that Pakistan has got huge mineral wealth, and both those natural resources are in Balochistan. Now that that makes some logic, because now the US wants to intervene in Balochistan. There comes the name of the island. What I said is Astola Island. Astola Island is 25 kilometers off Balochistan coast. It's an island with an area of around 6.5 square kilometers, an uninhabited island. Now there is a Pakistan submarine base there. Now US wants to, establish a military base there. It would help them. It would help them build an Air Force base, naval base. It has got enough land for the US forces. It is there in Arabian Sea. It has. So now again, as I said, Pakistan will build a missile base as well as Air Force base. It can threaten China. It can control traffic through Indian Ocean. It can even threaten India. Now that is the game plan. So that is why they wanted to, clear Balochistan of independent groups. Now that is why they declared Balochistan Liberation Army as a foreign terrorist organization. Now you know the game plan of the United States. They want to, control the whole area. Now they will try to oust Chinese from the area. I won't be surprised if Pakistan goes for US in place of China. Thereby, Balochistan is going to become a theater of conflict between China and the China and the United States. So Pakistan will side with the United States. Now you realize this grand game plan. It is because of that Pakistan has slapped huge taxes on India. Why? Now when Pakistan intervenes in South Asia, Pakistan knows very well that India is going to resist them. Now they will put forward a carrot. They will say if India remains silent, we will reduce the tax. And they will raise the bogey of China to threaten India also. So eventually they will try to convince India that the US having two bases in South Asia will help India also. It is with this ulterior motive that President Donald Trump said 30 times that it was he who brought about a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Why? He wants to create an impression. He wants to create a facade before the whole world that it was the presence of the US in South Asia that averted a nuclear war. Now he will use the same argument in the coming days. He would try to convince India that if the US has a base in South Asia, no nuclear war will happen. Before the whole world, he will say that if America has a presence in South Asia will become a safe region. Otherwise, there is threat of a nuclear war in South Asia. This is the grand plan of the US. How will India thwart this? Will India be able to do so? Let's see how Mr. Narendra Modi is going to, respond. I will be back with updates. Till then, goodbye.